Well, the pain starts before I come here was around 4.5 years ago, and I've been through the doctors, and so actually they did nothing, and the pain's still there, and they don't know what causes. All I know was I get some lumps on my left side, and sometimes I was struggle to even to walk.
Oh, what were you thinking was wrong with your back at that time?
I don't know. I was just scared. Some days I was really bad, some days a bit better, and I was going on, and for 4.5 years.
Wow.
I just
And
been to the injections, doctors, and it come to the point. I asked why they don't do a MRI in my show, and so in the end they refused. They did the X-rays and give me some injections, and nothing works.
Nothing worked.
Then they come up with painkillers to help me, but after some time.
Okay. How did that affect you physically and mentally? Were you down? Or?
Yeah, I was at the end I was really bad. I was at the bottom, really, with no hope, scared. And when finally I come to pain management team, Simon suggests me to come to you guys.
Okay.
And I have nothing to lose, so I decide, yeah, I'm gonna try whatever.
Okay.
And when I come to you guys, when we come to that section on the beliefs, that's when triggers out, and I believe it might be a solution for me, because mentally I was completely down. I was trapped on my beliefs. That's on that section I find out, on the beliefs section, I find out I was trapped on that. Mentally I was just thinking, this is it.
Okay.
It's no hope.
And what did the back and control class do with those beliefs? How did that change your mindset?
Well, they say if that classes don't make me better, it don't do any worse. So it worth to try. And I did try, did some exercises, and yeah, was the pain, but as I go, I start believe it not gonna put me on a wheelchair. That's what I was scared. And after that, I just carry on, and I start believe different way. Believe I still have some chance to get my life back.
Brilliant.
And the freedom, because I was really down, thinking can no longer do the things I like to do. So what am I doing in this life?
And what are you doing now since the class?
And since the class, I do everything. The pain is still, but it's not getting worse. It's the same pain I was, but the difference is I get my life back, and my freedom. And I lost all that for 4.5 years. After that, I get more active, with more hopes, and I decide to go to Portugal to do the MRI, because they refuse to do it. I want to know what causes that pain. Now I know, and thanks to you guys, you give me power to have that effort to go and do this. And it comes up is arthritis. So before I know, I was thinking it could be cancer, it could be, so mentally I was completely down before I see you guys.
Brilliant, brilliant. That's really nice, really good story there, Odie. Thank you so much. Would you say there's any difference between the physiotherapy that you'd had before the class and then our type of physiotherapy that we do in the class in terms of how we, the content that we present? Is it different to normal physio, or is it?
Yeah. When you go to normal physio, they do some kind of massages, some movements, and tell you to go home and do this and do that. And here, you talk about not just the pain, but on my case it's a chronic pain, I believe. But it's to deal with that. So you help me to deal with that and make me believe I can still have a quality life, and that's what I was looking for some, and you managed to trigger that, because I was completely down. Now she was really scared as well.
She was scared
because she see me. I don't care about anything. Nothing.
Now you got your life back.
Nothing makes me happy, and now. Now I'm going everywhere, doing everything I like, and even last week I've been all night fishing in Weymouth. I was feeling miserable every single day. I wake up and I feel like, what I'm doing here? Why don't I die during the night? So
this has been life-changing for you?
Oh yeah. Now I'm doing everything.
Basically, the backache started probably 3 years ago and steadily got worse. Went to the doctor, did the normal things, and basically said that I had something wrong with my back, and obviously, and eventually, after a long-winded thing, they gave me a scan.
Okay.
The scan was done, and they said you basically have damaged your back through whatever, work-related or whatever it is, but that's what they said at that time.
Okay, and what did you think was wrong with your back?
I had no idea what was wrong with my back at that time. All I knew was I was constantly in pain, particularly after being in bed. If I got up in the morning, I was in pain, and that pain would go on throughout the day, steadily getting worse.
And how did that affect you physically, but also mentally in terms of your mood and things like that?
Mentally, not particularly, but physically, obviously, I'm working. I'm an electrician. I still work now, and it was obviously suffering with backache is not the best thing when you're trying to crawl through cupboards.
Okay, that sounds really difficult for you. So when you came into the class, then the back rehab class, how did that help you?
Again, long-winded before I actually came to this class, and I didn't have any expectations, and I sometimes think that's the best way to get into anything like this, is to not have any expectations and literally go with the flow and see what happens. It quickly became apparent that I wasn't alone. There was other people suffering the same, and also the pain they were suffering was very not dissimilar to what I was suffering, and they were all dealing with it in different ways. I was dealing with it by bloody mindedness, just by pretending it wasn't there, and it will go away if I ignore it, which it obviously doesn't. And I think that listening to other people and their stories, immediately you become a part of a group when you're not individually dealing with this situation.
Okay, brilliant, excellent, that's really good to hear. What would you say the difference is between sort of normal physiotherapy or physiotherapy you've had in the past in comparison to what we offer and did in the class?
I think it's entirely different. I think physiotherapy per se is to deal with, this is how we deal with it, you will do this, or we will manipulate this, and hopefully this will get better. Okay. And that's as basic as it gets. Hopefully something comes out at the end of it and you do feel better by it. I think this is a completely different ball game. I think this is more information, some of what you dispel, and the one of the classic ones I think everyone got from this class that I was in with was the fact that if your back is damaged or you've got backache or you're in pain, that is it. That's what you deal with, and you will deal with that for the rest of your life. And I think what we got from this, or what I got from it, was the fact that you can't damage your back. You can work your back, you can manipulate your back, you can carry on, you can work your back as hard as you like, and you won't damage it anymore. And I think that's what people were scared of. It was what I was scared of, was the fact that you're going to damage your back some more. And therefore you try to be careful, you try not to do things, you're forever trying to do things carefully. What I've learned from this is completely the opposite. I exercise every day, I work my back, I do the exercises that I know work for me, and there's lots of different exercises out there that work for different people, and the ones I use work for me. And if my back is in severe pain, I woke up this morning, I was in pain. I've done 20 minutes of exercises, my back feels better. So I think if anybody has learned anything from this, it's exactly that. The fact that your back can be in pain, you can have constant pain, but you can deal with it, and you can deal with it in a completely different way to what you ever thought possible, because there's no way I came into this thinking you were going to tell me to do exercises. That was the last thing I was thinking. I was thinking you were going to tell me, well, your back's damaged, it's not going to get any better, but listen to this, maybe we can help, maybe we can't. It was completely the opposite. I mean, the help that, and also from the class, if you listen to other people, you talk to other people, you do the exercise, you've got the gym there, which is perfect. You do a bit of exercise and you talk to other people, and you can see the progress other people are making as well, which is also good. You said about mental health. If you can see other people that are benefiting from this, and you're benefiting from it, that just knocks it out of the ballpark.
I was doing a Pilates class on my back, legs in the air, and the back. That's when it started. And I did eventually have a scan, which sort of implied that they already knew that the lower back was a problem from past injuries. And they said that it looked as if there was a couple of bulging discs, there was narrowing of the spinal canal, and it was likely pressing on the sciatica nerve.
And how did that affect you at the time?
Well, they said it was going to my back was just going to continue deteriorating. So really, it's like this is going to get even worse, and you could end up crippled more or less. So it was really not very helpful.
And did that have effect on your mental health and your mood and things like that?
Yes, because I was in chronic pain all the time. For about 5 months, I was completely very, very, very painful. Sleep, movement, anything.
Okay.
So it was really hard, very tired, and just coping with it all, and the fact there's nothing you can do to help.
Okay.
So it did impact me.
That sounds really difficult for you. And then, so when you came into the back and control class, how did that class help you?
Hugely. I mean, it was transformative. I think the big thing was the exercise, having supervised exercise, guiding you, correcting you. But it wasn't just core, it was leg strengthening as well, and I think that made the big difference. So I'd never done gym work for my back before. I'd done strengthening core exercises, but never gym work with strengthening the legs. And that made a huge difference. And the education side as well, so sort of explaining it to you, dispelling myths, so that you thought by moving you were making things worse, whereas actually it was not moving, it was you that was making it worse. And able to ask you questions, hearing what the other questions were, which answered some of your own as well. So it was really transformative, and doing it for 6 weeks as well, so that you actually got going and starting. And it helped me come off. I came off medication. I got back to doing things again, and it was just amazing.
Brilliant. That's a fantastic story to hear there. And what would you say the difference is between like sort of normal physiotherapy or physiotherapy you've had in the past in comparison to this back and control class?
I think the big thing was the leg work and gym work. Normal physio, they tend to focus on or physio or exercises, they tend to focus on the core strengthening for your back and back exercises, whereas this, doing the legs, was what just made such a difference. Because I had done back exercises for many years, but it was that made a big difference. But also having supervised classes and actually getting you doing it, so it wasn't just leaving you to go off and do your own thing.
Okay.
You were actually there supervising, helping, guiding, encouraging and correcting as well. So
Brilliant,
it's fantastic.
brilliant. And then since the class, you've got back to some things and started doing some things. Tell us about that.
No, definitely. You know, I'm walking more. I'm doing more gardening. I'm able to bend more. That doesn't mean I don't take care, and occasionally you can feel it a bit, but that's the warning sign to just you're overdoing it and backing off. But no.
Hi, my name's Dan Petchy. I'm a musculoskeletal physiotherapist. I work here at Bognor Hospital and St Richard's Hospital. I work both in the musculoskeletal outpatient department but also in the chronic pain service over at Bognor Hospital. I set up the back and control programme back in early 2022, and since then I think we've had roughly over 100 patients complete the programme. I myself have a particular interest in looking at cognitive functional therapy for persistent or chronic lower back pain. The Back and Control programme is a 6-week programme. It combines education with exercise. It is based on a cognitive functional therapy approach where 3 main topics are discussed. The first part is making sense of pain. This part looks at the patient's beliefs and what they understand about their back pain. We also look to try and remove unhelpful behaviours and emotions, which are often barriers to valued goals. We also provide patients with resources throughout this part so they can reflect on what they have learned. The next part is looking at lifestyle factors. So we look at things like sleep and how a lack of sleep can contribute to persistent pain. We also talk about things like physical activity, linking that to their valued goals, but also considering things like the social engagement and the cost of these physical activities. We also look at things like pacing, and we talk about how to pace correctly if patients are going through the boom and bust cycle. If patients are really sensitised in their lower back, we talk about the importance of relaxed everyday movement. And then lastly, all patients are informed of the health enhancing systemic effects in line with their story. For example, how a lack of sleep can affect their mood. So the last part of the treatment is or consists of exposure with control, or what is known as graded exposure. So the idea of this part of the treatment is to try and remove maladaptive pain behaviours. These are pain behaviours that are unhelpful or may slow down recovery. So we look at things like, are patients kind of overprotecting their back, or are they avoiding functional tasks or certain movements? So during this stage of the treatment, patients are often actually quite fearful, scared and really frightened of their back. So it's really important during this stage that you build a strong therapeutic relationship with the patient, so then they can start to build trust and confidence back in their back. Often we see over time that the patient's quality of life gets a lot better once they start to trust their back and get back to normal activities of daily living. On top of this, we've also done a data audit over the last year or so since we started the Back and Control programme. So the data audit was on 30 patients who completed the Arebro musculoskeletal pain questionnaire before the class and then after the 6 weeks. And from those 30 patients, 90% had improvement in scores. So the musculoskeletal Arebro pain questionnaire looks at pain from a biopsychosocial approach. So what we found is actually patients weren't just seeing improvements in pain itself, but they were seeing improvements in other areas such as anxiety, depression, and particularly things like confidence and trust in their back, which is really important and really nice to see actually. So we also have a virtual Back and Control programme. So this is quite similar to the face-to-face programme. Patients will have access to 6 different educational talks. They will also have access to exercise videos at the end where patients are shown the different type of exercises that you can do for back pain, how to do them and the purpose of these exercises. The videos are quite accessible as well. They can be sent via email, and the virtual programme is quite helpful for those that obviously can't attend face to face or just have other commitments.